Welcome to Gray Matter Reports. Today, we decode the complex reality of events that unfold around us. The air hung heavy in the dimly lit room, saturated with the scent of dampness and disarray. Shadows danced across the walls, whispering secrets of the past. Each object, each mark told a story, a narrative of chaos that had unfolded within this confined space. The evidence lay strewn about, like pieces of a puzzle waiting to be assembled. A flickering light illuminated a corner, revealing the stark contrast between the sterile environment and the emotional detachment that had overtaken it. This was not merely a setting, it was a tableau of disconnection. Here, the subject's actions had severed the ties to empathy, leaving only the cold remnants of a fractured psyche. Biological evidence scattered throughout hinted at the underlying motivations, a labyrinthine mind that rationalized its behaviors through a lens warped by malice. The crime scene, meticulously documented, bore witness to a systematic approach. Each detail was cataloged with precision, a clinician's methodology applied to an unfathomable act. As investigators moved like specters, they navigated the terrain of the antisocial profile, trying to decode the emotional dissonance that marked the subject's existence. Every footprint, every trace, was a breadcrumb leading deeper into the mind that had orchestrated this chaos. A methodical sweep revealed the intricate layers of the individual's psyche. Patterns emerged, stark and clinical, revealing a chilling absence of remorse. The walls echoed with the silence of unacknowledged pain, a reflection of the emotional disconnect that defined the subject's being. A narrative unfolded, one of isolation and unrelenting self-interest, devoid of the fundamental human experience of empathy. The clinical observations painted a portrait of detachment, a mind driven by a relentless pursuit of control, where emotions were relegated to mere tools of manipulation. It was a chilling reminder that beneath the surface of societal norms lay a complex web of psychological aberrations. The dispassionate analysis served as a lens, magnifying the stark contrast between societal expectations and the grim reality of the human condition. In this somber space, the investigators became reluctant custodians of a harsh truth. They were tasked with piecing together a narrative that defied comprehension, navigating the labyrinth of the antisocial profile. The crime scene was not just a location, it was a haunting echo of the empathy paradox, a stark reminder of the emotional chasm that separated the subject from the world at large. Each moment spent here was a confrontation with the darker facets of humanity, a journey into the void of understanding that would challenge their very perception of morality. In the dimly lit confines of a sterile room, thoughts swirl like autumn leaves caught in a tempest. The individual at the center of our exploration is not merely a profile. They are a complex tapestry of emotions, experiences, and disconnections. Each thread weaves a narrative that defies conventional understanding, revealing the paradox of empathy intertwined with profound emotional detachment. The world outside continues its relentless pace, unaware of the fractured psyche within. To comprehend this subject, one must traverse the labyrinth of their mind, where empathy exists as an echo rather than a resonant chord. Early experiences shape the neural pathways, forging connections that can either enhance or inhibit emotional response. This individual, however, exists on the outskirts of emotional engagement. They perceive the world through a lens that filters out the hues of human connection. Neuroscience offers a glimpse into this realm. The amygdala, responsible for emotional processing, often operates in a diminished capacity in those with an antisocial profile. This biological evidence points to an altered state where the richness of human interaction is muted. Empathy, a fundamental component of social behavior, becomes a foreign concept. The individual navigates life with a clinical detachment, their reactions measured, almost robotic. Imagine a surgeon, poised over an operating table. Their hands are steady, their focus unwavering. Each incision is calculated, devoid of emotion. This image serves as a metaphor for the individual's interaction with the world. They analyze, dissect, and categorize emotions, yet remain untouched by them. Their understanding of human suffering is intellectual, not visceral. They observe the pain of others, yet it stirs no visceral response within. The paradox deepens. While the individual may lack emotional connectivity, they possess an acute awareness of societal norms. They mimic behaviors, donning the mask of normalcy. This facade is a shield, a means of navigating a world that demands emotional engagement. Behind closed doors, however, lies an unsettling truth. The emotional disconnect creates a chasm, making genuine human connection an elusive dream. As we delve deeper, we encounter the implications of this emotional disassociation. The subject's actions may be calculated, devoid of the chaos of impulse. Yet, the absence of empathy does not negate the capacity for manipulation. In this clinical landscape, the individual becomes both a puzzle and a paradox, a figure steeped in the shadows of human experience. Understanding them requires not just analysis, but an acknowledgement of the intricate dance between emotion and detachment. In the end, the mind of the offender reveals a world where empathy and disconnection coexist, challenging our perceptions of morality and the very essence of what it means to be human. The shadows of the mind stretch far, revealing intricate patterns woven into the fabric of human behavior. Understanding the intricacies of antisocial profiles requires a meticulous examination of the individuals involved, both the subject and those affected. Each story is a thread in a vast tapestry, revealing how emotional disconnection can shape lives, not just on the dark side of the law, but also in the innocent lives entwined in the narrative. Victimology, at its core, is the study of these threads. It delves into the psychological and social aspects that define the individuals who find themselves at the center of these tragic events. Often, it is not the event itself that defines the aftermath, but rather the complex interplay of relationships, perceptions, and emotional responses. The emotional disconnect observed in an antisocial profile can create a chasm that affects all parties involved. Consider the familial ties that often bind individuals to their subjects. The emotional resonance among family members can amplify the impact of a case conclusion. When an antisocial profile is present, the once familiar warmth of familial love can morph into confusion and despair. The disconnection experienced by the subject fosters a ripple effect. Those closest to them may grapple with profound feelings of betrayal and loss, as they struggle to reconcile the person they knew with the actions that transpired. In clinical terms, this phenomenon can be likened to a pendulum swinging between empathy and apathy. For the individual with an antisocial profile, the capacity for empathy may be dulled, rendering them unable to engage with the emotional lives of others. Conversely, those left in the wake of such an individual often swing toward heightened emotional states. They become hyper-aware of their surroundings, their relationships, and the fragility of human connection. This emotional dissonance is a double-edged sword, cutting through the fabric of their everyday lives. The effects of this disconnect extend beyond immediate relationships, impacting communities and societal perceptions as a whole. The narratives that emerge from such cases often reflect broader cultural anxieties and fears. The emotional fallout ripples outward, influencing how society perceives and interacts with similar cases in the future. This interplay of emotional states creates a somber landscape where understanding becomes a battleground. In this complex web of human interaction, the journey of understanding continues. Each thread reveals more about the human condition, illuminating the darker corners of emotional disconnect. Victimology thus becomes not just a study of individuals, but a profound exploration of collective human experience, an attempt to understand the chasms that lie within and between us. The pursuit of empathy, however elusive, remains a beacon in this somber narrative, guiding the exploration of the human psyche. The flickering glow of news screens casts an eerie light on public perception. Headlines scream for attention, each one a brushstroke on the canvas of societal understanding. The media, an architect of narratives, plays a pivotal role in shaping how individuals perceive the complexities of antisocial profiles. Their influence extends beyond mere reporting. It crafts a narrative that can either illuminate or obscure the truth. In the clinical world of criminal psychology, emotional disconnect is often a focal point of analysis. Yet the media, with its sensationalized portrayal, can distort this understanding. An individual's actions become a spectacle, often stripped of the psychological nuances that define their behavior. The media's portrayal can transform a complex psychological profile into a caricature, reducing the individual to a mere collection of traits. The emotional landscape of their lives is often ignored, leaving the audience with an incomplete understanding. Consider the effect of dramatic retellings. A case conclusion is presented not as a culmination of meticulous investigation, but as a riveting storyline. This shift in presentation alters the viewer's perception. They begin to view the individual not through the lens of psychological evaluation, but through a prism of fear and intrigue. The emotional dissonance grows as the audience grapples with the paradox of empathy. How can one feel for a subject whose actions seem so disconnected from societal norms? The media's framing can create a feedback loop, feeding public sentiment while simultaneously shaping it. Reports on biological evidence often emphasize the sensational rather than the scientific. This, in turn, influences public opinion, leading to a skewed understanding of accountability and mental health. The emotional reactions elicited by such reports can be profound, yet they often lack the depth necessary for true comprehension. As viewers consume these narratives, they may find themselves grappling with conflicting emotions. The subject is portrayed as a monster, yet the threads of their humanity are often woven into the background, obscured by the loud clamor of sensationalism. This is the empathy paradox, a struggle to reconcile the abhorrent actions of an individual with the understanding that they, too, are shaped by a complex interplay of biological and psychological factors. In this climate, the potential for genuine understanding diminishes. The media's role is pivotal, yet it often neglects the responsibility that comes with such influence. The narrative they present can either bridge the gap between understanding and fear, or deepen the chasm, leaving society in a state of emotional unrest. As the cycle continues, one must question, can empathy truly thrive in an environment dominated by sensationalized narratives? Rehabilitation is a labyrinthine journey, fraught with emotional hurdles and psychological complexities. Each individual presents a unique tapestry of experiences, woven with threads of trauma, neglect, and sometimes an innate biological predisposition towards emotional disconnect. Understanding this intricate design is essential when considering the potential for change. The paradox lies in the very nature of empathy. For those with an antisocial profile, the ability to connect emotionally is often impaired. Their experiences of the world are filtered through a lens of detachment. This dissonance complicates rehabilitation efforts. Traditional methods that rely on empathy and emotional engagement may prove futile. When an individual cannot empathize with others, the foundational elements of rehabilitation, understanding remorse, guilt, and accountability, become abstract concepts, distant and unreachable. Consider the method of cognitive behavioral therapy. It is a structured approach designed to reframe thoughts and behaviors. However, when applied to individuals exhibiting significant emotional disconnect, the effectiveness diminishes. Imagine trying to teach a language to someone who cannot hear. The nuances of compassion and understanding slip through the cracks. A therapist, armed with tools and techniques, faces an uphill battle against the formidable wall of emotional detachment. Neuroscience offers glimpses into this phenomenon. Studies reveal that specific regions of the brain, such as the amygdala and prefrontal cortex, play pivotal roles in emotional regulation and empathy. In individuals with antisocial profiles, these areas may exhibit irregular activity. The biological evidence suggests a deep-seated disconnection, one that often transcends mere behavioral patterns. Rehabilitation, then, must be approached with this understanding in mind, blending psychological and neurological insights. Yet the question remains, can true rehabilitation occur? Can the emotional circuitry be repaired? Some argue that sustained exposure to positive environments can foster change. Others point to the necessity of intense therapeutic interventions that go beyond conventional methods. These could include immersive experiences that simulate emotional connections, allowing individuals to confront their own disconnection. The journey of rehabilitation is not linear. It twists and turns, with setbacks often overshadowing progress. For some, the path leads to glimpses of understanding, perhaps a semblance of empathy. For others, it remains an elusive dream, perpetually out of reach. The complexity of rehabilitation lies not just in the individual's history, but in the very fabric of human emotion itself. It is a somber reminder of the fragility of the human psyche, where hope and despair coexist in a delicate balance, each influencing the other in profound ways. The future of empathy in crime analysis hangs delicately in the balance, swaying between innovation and ethical concerns. With advancements in neuroscience, we stand on the precipice of unraveling the intricate web of human emotions. Yet, this very progress raises questions about our moral compass. How far should we delve into the psyche of the antisocial profile? Imagine the brain as a complex orchestra, each neuron a musician playing its part. In a healthy mind, harmony prevails. In the antisocial profile, however, dissonance reigns. Emotional disconnect manifests as a chilling silence, a void where empathy should reside. This emotional landscape can be mapped, dissected, and analyzed. But what do we gain from such knowledge? Research indicates that empathy can be both a tool and a weapon. The very ability to comprehend another's emotions can lead to manipulation. Understanding the emotional triggers of an individual may help in preventing future incidents, yet it also invites ethical dilemmas. Should we employ this knowledge to predict behavior, or does this risk dehumanizing the subject under scrutiny? Consider the implications of biometric data. Advances in technology allow us to measure emotional responses with unprecedented accuracy. Heart rate variability, skin conductivity, and even facial recognition can illuminate the unseen. But as we gather this biological evidence, we must tread carefully. Each data point represents a life, a story, an individual. Reducing them to mere statistics risks stripping away their humanity. In the clinical realm, empathy training is emerging as a potential remedy. Programs designed for law enforcement and rehabilitation aim to cultivate emotional intelligence. The idea is simple. By fostering genuine connections, we can bridge the gap between understanding and action. Yet the paradox remains. Is it possible to teach empathy to those who lack it? As we look to the horizon, the role of artificial intelligence in understanding criminal profiles looms large. Algorithms can process vast amounts of data, identifying patterns that elude human perception. Yet can a machine truly grasp the nuances of human emotion? The clinical detachment of AI raises profound questions. Will it enhance our ability to understand, or will it deepen the chasm of emotional disconnect? The path forward must be navigated with caution. The empathy paradox serves as both a warning and a guide. As we delve deeper into the emotional abyss of the antisocial profile, we must remember the essence of humanity. Knowledge devoid of compassion can lead to a future where empathy becomes a relic of the past. Balancing insight with ethical responsibility may be our most formidable challenge yet.